Coach, I'm going to ask you a few questions. First, why don't you tell a little about yourself, give a little bio, little description.
Well, I've been coaching now for 25 years, 17 as a head coach. Um, been at the same school for all 17 years. Born and raised in Death Strand. It's been my dream job at Death Strand. I've been fortunate enough to be the head coach there for 17 years, and probably the best job I could ever want. So that's where we're at now.
That's good. That's good. And you said all 17 years with Destrehan, and you say you've been coaching for about 25 years?
Yes, yeah, 25 total.
Hmm.
I've been I'm sorry. I've been coaching for 25. I've been the head coach. Can we start this all over? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's quite all right. It's quite all right.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been coaching for a total of 25 years. I've been the head coach at Destrehan for 16 years.
All right. Before you were head coach at Destrehan, what were you doing as where were you
I
coaching?
was, I was assistant coach at Destrehan for those years. My whole tenure of coaching, I had 1 year at St. Charles Catholic,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest at Destrehan High School.
All right. All right. What So to become a head coach, what steps did you take? What were some things that you needed to do to become not just a head coach, but being a coach or coordinator in general?
Well, the one thing you really got to do is you have to, be knowledgeable in the game and knowledgeable, keep learning the game. The game is ever changing, and things come back as the experiences that you go through. But the main thing is just staying up of the game and understanding, what the philosophies of what people are trying to do to you offensively, and then what are they trying to do defensively, and you have to really kind of stay apart because the game, like I said, is constantly changing. We've been through when I was a coordinator early in my career. We can line up in a 50 defense and be pretty good because that's what the offense dictated it. But now with the spread teams, it's just something where you got to get more to a spread defense, and you have to play it differently. So the game's constantly changing. The one thing that you have to do is, you're not going to learn everything in college. It's out going and learning from the guys from college guys and high school guys that have been successful, and it's just a job that you really have to keep up with.
Okay, okay, all right. And with your job, what are some things that you loved most about it? What were some things that when you go in and you just put your smile on your face every time this happens? What were some of them?
The kids, the players, obviously there's a reason why we're this. It's bigger than football, in the position that we're in at Destrehan. It's all about the program and the kids, and I consider myself a very humble guy, and it's all about the kids and their successes, and that's the one thing that gets you going is to be able to take a team year in year out and mold those guys into the team. Each team had their individual identities, but to better mold that team into the team that they become, and to see their accomplishments, when it starts in January, all the way through the hot summer days, and then putting the product on the field on Friday nights, it's really special to see that all come together.
Nice, nice. And you did Coach Ed Reed, who once was with Destrehan in high school, right?
Yes, sir. He was a phenomenal player. The biggest thing with Ed was where do we play him? He was good enough to play just about any position on the field, and we had him playing quarterback early. I was the defensive coordinator at the time when Ed came through, and we kind of played him at quarterback a little bit, but his true position was safety, and he was just phenomenal back there. We played him at free safety, and those guys just have a natural instinct, and he was a phenomenal player.
Mhm. And outside of Ed Reed, were there any other type of players that you had a great relationship with? Were there any others that you just love seeing succeed, not just in high school but college and pro?
Well, we've had a few go through and made it to the pros. Obviously, Ron Del Mealy, just all those guys are special. But more than the big guys that we've coached that went on and had great careers in the NFL. I really enjoy the guy that comes to you and say, you know what, we've learned lessons through your program and became a better man, and my family. I know what's important and so forth. So you have those. Of course, it's nice to see the Ed Reeds, the Rondell Mealeys, the Kurt Merritts, and those guys that are going to be real good in football. But it's also good to see the guys come through who just say, you know what, we enjoyed our time playing football, and we just enjoyed our time. We learning and experiencing the things that we did at Destrehan High School.
Nice. Nice. And of course, with every job, there's probably some things that you're not looking forward to and some dislikes. I mean, what are some things that just you just didn't like having to see when coaching?
Well, our philosophy at Destrehan, is everybody can succeed, and every now and then you have a few that can't, and that's the thing that gets to me a lot more than the successes is those guys that we couldn't get to and couldn't help, and they couldn't make it. We don't cut anybody at Destrehan, and we want to see everybody succeed, but some of them just don't quite get it. So that's really tough on you. And the biggest negative about our job is the hours, obviously, number one, and the time that you take away from your family. I mean, your family just gives up so much for you to be able to go do what you do, and you got to have special people in your life, especially your wife. I mean, she's got to be a rock to help. But the negatives of the job, there's very few. Obviously the fundraising and all that, it can be fun, but it can be a little bit of a pain. But it's a job that I can actually say that I got up every day of my life and went there and never really said, you know what, this is not fun, and it's just a great situation, and the benefits really, really outweigh the negatives in this profession.
Yeah. And speaking of hours, outside of practice, and I would go ahead and throw in meetings. I mean, how on average, how many hours do you spend, trying to perfect each and every little thing about your team, looking at film, developing game plans, etc. Like,
Well, people don't understand that, we'll go obviously to about 7 o'clock every day on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, Wednesday you got JV games, so it's actually about 9 o'clock, and then Thursday you usually scouting, so it's late 10 o'clock there. Of course, Friday night's the game, and you don't get home till 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're back at work at 8 o'clock at Saturday morning, maybe even 7, and then you're working probably there to about noon, 1 o'clock, and then then you have a little bit downtime, and then it's kind of like my wife's time, her 24 hours, where we go from noon on Saturday, and then we'll go back to work on noon on Sunday, where we can go to mass and do the things we need to do, and then she will go from noon on Sunday all the way to probably 8, 9 o'clock Sunday night, and it starts all over again on Monday. So it's incredible the number of hours you put in, but you got to do it. We pretty much don't have a day off for about 3 months, so it's time consuming, but it's a job that's real rewarding.
nice, nice. And of course, you've coached high school for a long time. Have you ever thought about going college, or dare I say, even the pros?
Well, my wife would like to when she sees the salaries they make. She wish I would have, but always when I got into this, I got into it a little bit later in life. But I told myself I was going to stay in high school because once high school's season's finished, that off season is pretty much you work a couple of days a week and you got study hall, but it's not as demanding. But in college, that's when they start recruiting and all that other stuff. So it's kind of a time where I told my wife I'll do the football in the fall, but the spring will be y'all time. So that's why I really never really pursued a college coaching job.
Mm, yeah. Have you ever gotten offers from college teams?
Yeah, we've had a couple of guys talk to you every now and then, but it's pretty much known that that my ambition was never to be a college football coach.
Right, right. But it's still nice to hear an offer every now and then, is it?
Yeah, it is, it is. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, Matt, it's just Destrehan's a special place, and it's a place where I don't know of any other place that can be better, in my opinion. With just the facilities we have, the support we have, the players we have, the coaches we have, it's just a phenomenal place, and I just was very fortunate to have a pretty good career. To be able to stay in one spot all those years was very special to me, and hopefully I can kind of finish it out, with a few more years left, and just to be able to say that I've spent, my whole career at one school, and that's a heck of an accomplishment in my opinion.
Nice, nice. Um, when you started off, was there ever were you ever trying to model your game after like a legend coach, what regardless of what level?
Well, man, I'm gonna be totally honest with you. They had a guy that ran Destrehan before I did, and a guy named Chipper Simon. He used to be the principal at Destrehan. He was a football coach for a number of years before that. He kind of had that program where it needed to be, and Tim Rebo got the job after him, and then Scott Martin, and then I was fortunate to get the job. Just my whole philosophy in life was to make sure that that program stayed at the highest level in which Chipper started that program, and kind of add to it. And we were very fortunate to have success, and I think I owe it a lot to the stuff that Chipper Simon handed down to Tim Rebo, Scott Martin, and myself of that type of program, what the program means, and every decision we make is for the program, and it has nothing to do with me or anything else. But it's just something that was ingrained in me, and it worked, and we were just fortunate to be in that situation, and I owe everything to Chip Assignment, and the things that he taught me and the way to run a program.
Nice, nice. And earlier you did say your wife was one of your biggest supporters, helping you through coaching. Was there anyone else that helped support you when when you were not just a head coach but also an assistant?
Well, yeah, yeah, I was very fortunate that Tim Rebo was the head coach, became the head coach after Chip Assignment, and then I was only coaching for 3 years, and they wasn't quite ready to take over. And Scott Morton came in, and Scott Morton was an offensive guy, and I was a defensive guy, and he just turned the defense over to me, and I became a coordinator, and he was there for 5 years, and then left, and then I ended up getting the job. So those guys were tremendous influences on myself. They've done a phenomenal job, and they went on to be highly successful, and just kind of learn from what they did, and how they presented themselves, and how they ran the program. But there's so many influences you have. Everything you ever did in football is always stolen from somebody else, and borrowing it from somebody else, and as just like any other high school coach, you go out and learn different things. So there's so many people to be able to say, you know what, you got this from this guy, this from this guy, and it's just, we've been real blessed to be able to know a guy named Mike Norvell from he's at Memphis now, but he was at Tulsa, Arizona State. He was a GA back in the day when at Tulsa when Damaris Johnson went there, and we just met him as a GA, and then he went to Arizona State, and we just been following him, and his door's been open every time that we need to had questions to be answered, and it's just been a great influence. So, but it's just been, Matt, my philosophy is treating people the way you want to be treated. And treating people's sons like if they're your own, and just get good people around you. And we talk that in all phases of life. That's what I always talk about. Good people around you are going to help you do good things, and we've been blessed to have a lot of great assistant coaches that helped us out tremendously through the years, and we had the success that we had.
All right, that's great. Now, if whenever you're ready to step down as a coach, when you say, enough's enough, I'm tired, I'm ready to step down, what would you want your legacy to be? What would be the one thing they want you to remember for? Developer, being loyal, or being a successful winner?
Winning doesn't mean everything to me, Matt. My thing is to make sure that this program is going in the right direction. When we kind of took 2 years off there after my first 10 years as head coach, to go see my daughter cheer at another school, they didn't do so well, and that kind of hurt a little bit, and we were fortunate to come back, and we kind of got it back where we need to have the program. But I just want to, next guy to come in and say, hey, Coach Robichaux did a good job of of running this program. He kept the program going. They had a lot of success, and most of all, I just want to be known as a guy that helped young men out, and that's more than any wins or losses that we ever had. That is just for us to be an impact on young kids' lives, and I think we've done that.
Yeah, yeah. That's always a great thing. Always being, an impact, and always being, always when people look back to say he was a guy. He was a guy.
Yeah,
And
yeah. And there's so many people, man, that helps you. Your mom's one of the greatest ones at school, and I tell you, if you don't have a great rapport with teachers that help these kids out tremendously, it's just that's the key, and that's what we have at Destran. You have a total package of everybody working together for the players, and that's what works, and it's just a tremendous, that's my whole philosophy when we hire assistant coaches. Know that, hey, those teachers are important to me, and they're important to these kids, and we're gonna have a good rapport with those guys, and it has worked for me, and I think it's a huge part of our success at Destran.
all right. Final question: if you can go back in time and tell your younger self about what you have done, what would it be? Like, what would you tell him?
I just think, in all phases of life, I just try to be me, and you don't try to change to be someone that you're not. And you know, uh, my whole thing, like I said, is with my family and with this football team and the program and the guys that I work with, is just, hey, be the best you. Be a hard worker, do the right things, be a great role model, and hopefully that'll work. So hopefully that's what I've done, and hopefully that'll be my legacy, and hopefully that when I finally decide to walk away from this, people say, "Hey, he was a hard worker. He did a tremendous job. He was for the kids, and they won a few football games also."
All right. All right. That seems to be all the questions. And I think we got a good amount of time. Thank you, Coach Robichaux, for dedicating your very valuable time to this interview. I really appreciate it.
No problem, Matt. Thanks. Anything else I can do, let me know.
All right. Thanks for talking,
All
Coach.
right. Thanks, buddy.
No problem.